How you doing today, folks? And welcome to the Benchmade Anthem review. Now, before we get started, this knife is $446, and that puts it in some category with some full customs and some really crazy pieces. So please keep in mind as far as the overall score, because I have to take into account the actual price of the piece, which is extreme. As far as looks, some people swear by this knife. They think it's the most beautiful thing ever. Other people think it's ugly or too simplistic. I fall precisely in the middle of the road category. It's definitely not bad. This clip is very phallic looking, but I'm sure you've heard that before. But it's definitely not bad. The overall looks of the knife are definitely interesting. There's definitely not too much like it. And to be clear, I definitely don't dislike the looks. I'm just not entirely sure where I fall. Now, I've definitely been known to shit on Benchmade's QC control in the past, but as far as the Anthem, it really is good to go. Everything is contoured beautifully, everything is textured, everything has the perfect amount of chamfering, and as such, there are no hot spots at all with this knife, and it really shows what Benchmade can do if they actually really try, and with the Anthem, it's so very apparent they really and genuinely tried. Now, with that being said, the blade definitely does favor the clip side a decent amount, and that sucks. And the action on the Benchmade Anthem honestly is a thing of beauty. This thing flicks out like an absolute dream, retracts in using that beautiful patented, well, currently expired patented access lock. And honestly, it really is just an overall beautiful, functional, fidget-friendly masterpiece that I just cannot stop messing around with. On top of all that, this thing glides down so smoothly. Honestly, I would call it Sebenza smooth. The edge geometry on this piece of 3.56-inch 20 CV steel is absolutely good to go. As you can see, it cuts through like absolute butter, no resistance. No real tearing, no issues. And the overall edge profile of this knife is just absolutely phenomenal. It's not perfect. You can see the paper does roll a little bit when you're actually going to cut. But for the most part, it does cut just fine. And if you happen to want to puncture, this thing punctures like it's nobody's business. Now, as far as the overall ergonomics, for me, they're a bit hit and miss. One, I do have to hold my finger very close to the actual blade. I do have size 2XL hands, so this isn't going to be the most comfortable thing for me personally. With that being said, again, there are no real hot spots. You really can't feel the clip. Everything is very smooth and very chamfered, and it's overall very comfortable, leading to an overall fantastic in-hand feel. But again, if you do have size 2XL hands or larger hands in general, this one might not be for you. Now, as far as carry profile on the Benchmade Anthem, I really was blown away by this knife. Now, again, the clip is very phallic, and I definitely do understand that. But with that being said, it is still very functional. Now, if you want to go with a aftermarket clip, you definitely can. But if you do that, I really feel like you kind of miss a piece of the knife. You know, all this integral milling and everything else, and the overall style of the piece as a whole is really a very beautiful thing, and I really kind of hate taking that away from the actual knife. On top of that, the clip actually carries really well. It's by no means perfect, but it's definitely good enough that I really enjoy it. Personally, I would not change it at all. Now, as far as the overall footprint of the Benchmade Anthem, as you can see, we definitely do have a perfect EDC ratio. With all that being said, I've heard the Benchmade Anthem referred to as an overbuilt knife, and for that designation, I wholeheartedly disagree. Because while the integral construction of the Benchmade Anthem is allowed for it to be very, very rigid, again, I just don't feel like it can really compare to other hard-use or overbuilt knives. To me, the Anthem is very much a dress knife. It's a fancy knife. It's a very pretty knife. But does it qualify as a overbuilt piece? No. Now, is it over-engineered? Yeah, that's possible. To be honest, I've only ever heard the overbuilt category kind of be talked about on forums, but I really don't understand the appeal of this knife as far as an overbuilt, over-engineered, hard-use knife. To me, this is very much a gents carry, and it fits very well into that role. Now, as far as my overall score on the Benchmade Anthem, first off, Benchmade's QC control is generally speaking all over the place. Now, the Anthem is a much higher price model, so it's obviously much better than usual. With that being said, it's not perfect, but it is still damn good. But you know, the Benchmade Anthem suffers from one very big glaring problem. And that problem really is its price point. Now, I know that probably sounds very nitpicky, but at this price point, you can afford some genuinely fantastic knives. And while this knife is good, hell, it's even pushing great, it's not fantastic. Now, if this knife was $300, I would recommend it all day long. But for being almost $450, man, it's just, there's so much better out there that I really cannot recommend this knife. With that being said, my overall score for me personally is going to be a 7 out of 10. But again, I give 2 scores for all of my knives. I do have some pretty fat hands that makes my overall use different than most people's. So as far as a generalized EDC score on the Benchmade Anthem, it's going to be a 9 out of 10. Overall, it's still a good knife. There's nothing necessarily bad about it. There's just so many things out there for that price point that are so much inherently better that, again, it really just fits the strange niche that I can't recommend it, even though I really like it. Alright folks, it's the end of the video. As always, I love you all very, very much. From the bottom of my heart, my ginger heart, my little ginger soul, I love you. I appreciate you all. Whatever you are doing today, have a fantastic one. Morning, noon, or night. Have a great day. Love yourself the way I love you, and take care, folks. Bye.